and looks smaller than I imagined. That is my first clear thought as I watch them lower my son into the ground. His name was Liam. He was 9 years old, and he was my entire world. I stand in the rain, my fingers cold around the flowers I can barely hold. The air smells of wet earth and sorrow. The preacher speaks softly, but his words float away, lost in the wind. All I can hear is the slow, mechanical sound of the ropes, the faint thud of wood meeting soil. Every sound feels like a heartbeat being buried. Around me, a few strangers murmur condolences and shift uncomfortably. But the people who should be here are not. My parents are missing. My sister is missing. No one from my own family came to say goodbye. Only Martha, my elderly neighbor, stands beside me with her umbrella, shielding us both from the rain. She whispers, "Take your time, Claire." Her voice trembles, and somehow it steadies me. 8 months earlier, the doctors gave the thing inside my child a name, a rare blood disorder. Those 3 words changed everything. Liam never complained. When I asked if he was scared, he smiled at me, thin and pale, and said, "Heroes don't quit, Mom, even when they hurt." Those words became my strength. I learned to live by the rhythm of hospital machines. I learned the nurses' names, memorized every schedule, and slept in waiting room chairs. I lived in hope. Until one morning the beeping stopped, and my world went silent. Now, that silence is everywhere. When I press my palm against the coffin before the earth covers it, I whisper, "I'll protect what you left behind, Liam. Everything that was meant for you." Martha squeezes my hand as the first shovel of soil falls. The sound is deep and final. Something inside me breaks with it. When everyone else leaves, I stay behind. Rain begins to fall again, light at first, then heavy. I stand there until my dress clings to my skin and my shoes fill with water. I can't move, I can't breathe. The world goes on somewhere beyond the cemetery gates, but it no longer feels like mine. By the time I return home, night has fallen. Liam's drawings are still taped to the refrigerator. Bright stars, uneven hearts, and a stick figure family with a red heart between us labeled me and Mom. The house smells of dust and quiet. I make tea, though I don't drink it. I sit in the dark and stare at my phone, the screen glowing faintly on the table. A message from my sister Veronica. "Hope the service went well. We were tied up with the engagement dinner. Let's talk soon." Another from my mother. "When you're ready, bring Liam's trust documents tomorrow. We need to review them." My breath catches. They couldn't come to their grandson's funeral, but they can find time to talk about money. The tea turns cold. Something inside me grows colder still. It is not just grief anymore, it is something sharper, a quiet awareness that my pain is about to be tested. I whisper into the empty room, "You already took enough from me. I won't let you take him again." Outside, thunder wumbles and the rain grows heavier. And somewhere deep within the grief, a small spark of strength flickers to life. Morning arrives gray and heavy, as if the sky itself remembers what happened. I barely sleep. I keep hearing the sound of dirt hitting the coffin over and over like an echo that refuses to fade. When I finally stand in front of the mirror, my face looks like someone I don't recognize. Pale skin, swollen eyes, lines that weren't there before. I smooth my hair, but there's no point. Nothing can make me look whole again. By noon, I drive to my parents' house in silence. The neighborhood feels the same as always. Neatly trimmed lawns, flowers on porches, everything pretending to be normal. I park behind a shiny silver car that doesn't belong to them. It's Veronica's, of course. When I step inside, the smell of coffee and expensive perfume hits me. My father greets me at the door, his voice calm but rehearsed. "Claire, you look tired. Come in, we've been waiting." His words sound polite, but there's no warmth behind them. The living room feels colder than the weather outside. Veronica sits on the sofa, legs crossed neatly, scrolling through her phone. My mother stands by the fireplace, pretending to fix a framed photo. No one says Liam's name, not once. On the coffee table, I see a folder filled with papers. The sight of it makes my stomach twist. My father gestures towards it and says, "We need to talk about the trust." I don't sit. "What about it?" I ask. Veronica looks up with a soft smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Claire, you're under a lot of stress. We just want to help manage things until you're ready." "Manage what?" I ask again. "The money your ex-husband left for Liam," my mother answers gently, as if she's discussing a recipe. "Your sister can act as trustee. It's safer that way." I blink, not sure I heard her right. "You mean you want me to give control of Liam's trust to Veronica?" My father sighs, the way he used to when I questioned him as a child. "Claire, you're not in the right state of mind to handle something like this. You're grieving. We're only trying to protect you." I take a step closer to the table. "Protect me or protect yourselves?" No one answers. My eyes fall to the folder. The papers are neatly arranged, each signature line already marked with sticky notes. They planned this, not today, not yesterday, but for months. Maybe even before Liam died.
Veronica's tone softens, practiced and smooth. "This isn't about greed, Claire. You know how impulsive you can be. We're just trying to make sure Liam's memory isn't wasted." The room feels smaller, the air too thick to breathe. I look from one face to the next, searching for even a flicker of guilt. There's none, only calculation behind polite smiles. Then I see a second car key on the table, beside Veronica's phone. It's engraved with the logo of her fiancé's new development company, the same company that's been struggling to stay afloat. That's when everything clicks into place. The trust fund isn't about Liam anymore. It's about money and survival, and the kind of selfishness that hides behind family portraits and kind words. My mother reaches for my hand. "Please, sweetheart, sign the forms. Let's not make this harder than it already is." I pull my hand away. "I buried my son yesterday. You weren't there. You didn't send flowers. You didn't call. And now you want what little piece of him I have left?" Veronica exhales, impatient. "Don't be dramatic, Claire. You're not thinking clearly." That's when I realize what this really is. They don't just want his money, they want control of me, and they're ready to use my grief as proof that I'm unfit to decide anything. I straighten my shoulders. "You want my signature? You won't get it." My father's tone turns cold. "If you walk out that door, you'll regret it." I look him straight in the eye. "I already regret trusting you." I pick up my bag and walk away. Their voices follow me down the hall, sharp and urgent, but I don't turn back. Outside, the cold air hits my face. I breathe it in like it's the first real breath I've taken in months. When I reach my car, my hands tremble, but it's not from fear. It's something else, a strange calm, heavy with purpose. My phone buzzes. It's Martha. She asks, "How did it go?" I stare at the steering wheel and whisper, "They tried to take everything." There's a pause, then her voice softens. "Then we'll make sure they don't." For the first time in days, I feel a small spark of warmth in my chest. Not hope yet, but the beginning of it. That night, I can't sleep. The house feels too still, the walls too close. Every shadow reminds me of Liam's hospital room, every silence of the moments I begged for another day with him. I sit by the window until the first light of morning touches the curtains. I think of what my family tried to do, of how calmly they smiled while planning to take the only thing left of my son. I realize I can't face this alone. By mid-morning, I drive across town to the law office of Daniel Pierce, a man my late ex-husband once trusted. His office smells of old books and coffee. When he looks up from his desk, his expression is kind but cautious. "Mrs. Evans," he says, standing to shake my hand, "I heard about Liam. I'm truly sorry." The sound of my son's name nearly undoes me, but I steady my breath. "I need help," I say quietly. My family is trying to take Liam's trust fund. They say I'm not mentally stable enough to manage it. Daniel studies me for a long moment, his eyes sharp and thoughtful. Do you have the documents? I nod and hand him the folder I took from my father's table before I left. He flips through the pages, his brow tightening. They've already prepared a petition for guardianship, he says. They're claiming you're mentally unfit due to grief. The words hit hard, though I suspected it already. So they can control the money, I whisper. Daniel nods. Yes, but your ex-husband, Michael, was very thorough when he set this up. I handled the paperwork myself. The trust clearly states that you alone are the beneficiary if Liam passes. It can't be transferred without your consent. For the first time in days, I feel something solid beneath my feet. So they can't take it? Not legally, Daniel replies. But they can still cause trouble. They can go to court, twist the story, try to paint you as unstable. I close my eyes, picturing Veronica's calm face, my mother's practiced sympathy. They would do it. They already are. I straighten my shoulders. You want my signature? You won't get it. Daniel nods slowly. If that's what you want, we'll prepare. But I need everything. Texts, emails, any proof of their intentions. I scroll through my phone, showing him the message from my mother. Bring the trust fund documents tomorrow. He reads it, his jaw tightening. That's enough to start. Keep every message. Don't delete a thing. When I leave the office, the air feels different, crisp and alive. The fear is still there, but it's wrapped in something stronger. Determination. Over the next few days, I gather everything. Screenshots, hospital records, notes from doctors, receipts from the endless nights I stayed by Liam's bedside. Martha helps me organize them, her hands steady as she tapes dates onto folders.
You're stronger than you think, she says one evening, sliding a stack of papers toward me. I don't feel strong, I whisper. Strength doesn't feel like power, Claire. It feels like surviving when you shouldn't be able to. Her words settled deep inside me. A week later, Daniel calls. They've filed the guardianship petition, he says. The hearing is set for next Friday. The next few days pass in a blur of preparation. I meet with Daniel, sign affidavits, speak with hospital staff who remember me sitting by Liam's bed every single night. One nurse writes a letter describing how I learned medical routines just to make my son's treatments easier. Martha offers to testify. Let them see who you really are, she insists, a mother who never gave up. The night before the hearing, I sit in Liam's room. His toys are still where he left them, his blanket folded on the bed. I pick up his favorite stuffed dinosaur and press it against my chest. I promised I'd protect what's yours, I whisper. I'm keeping that promise. Sleep doesn't come easily, but when it does, it's calm. And for the first time since the funeral, I dream of Liam smiling, bright, whole, and free. Morning comes too soon. The courthouse stands gray against the sky as Daniel and I walk inside. My parents and Veronica are already there, sitting together with their lawyer. Their expressions are calm, practiced, confident. When the hearing begins, their attorney speaks first, his tone full of concern. Your Honor, our clients only wish to help their daughter through her grief. She's been struggling emotionally and financially. We believe it's in everyone's best interest that her sister oversee the trust. Then it's my turn. Daniel rises, his voice steady. Your Honor, this isn't about concern. It's about control. My client's family neglected her and her child during months of illness and grief, only to appear once they learned of a financial opportunity. He begins presenting evidence, messages, hospital records, witness statements. Each paper he lays down feels like a brick in a wall I'm building between myself and their lies. Then he plays an audio clip I recorded days earlier, Veronica's voice from a phone call. "If you just sign the papers, we can all move on. Don't make this harder, Claire. You know you can't handle everything right now." The courtroom goes silent. The judge's expression hardens. My family shifts uncomfortably. When it's my turn to speak, my voice trembles but holds steady. I buried my son, alone. My family wasn't there. They didn't call. They didn't help. But they came running when they remembered the money. I pause, meeting the judge's eyes. I may be grieving, but I'm not broken. My son's legacy is not theirs to claim. The words hang in the air, sharp and final. When the judge calls a recess, I walk out into the hallway, my heart pounding. Daniel places a hand on my shoulder. "You did well," he says quietly. "Whatever happens, they saw your truth today." I nod, staring through the courthouse window at the gray sky beyond. The storm has passed for now, but I can feel another one gathering. They won't stop here, but neither will I. The courthouse feels colder after the recess. I sit quietly beside Daniel, listening to the echo of footsteps and the low murmur of voices beyond the doors. When the judge returns, everyone rises. My heart beats so hard I can hear it in my ears. The petitioners are called back to the stand. Veronica's voice trembles for the first time as she insists, "We were only trying to protect Claire." Daniel waits until she finishes, then stands. He moves with calm precision, his tone quiet but firm. Protect her? From what? From being a devoted mother? From surviving without you? Let's hear what your protection really looked like. He plays a short video from the security camera outside my house, recorded just days ago. Veronica's voice is clear, cold, unmistakable. "If you don't sign, we'll make everyone believe you're unstable." The sound fills the courtroom. No one breathes. My mother's hand flies to her mouth. My father stares straight ahead. They study their faces, her expression unreadable. Daniel continues, laying the final pieces of the puzzle on the table. Copies of text messages, bank records, proof that Veronica's fiancé's business was drowning in debt. Then he holds up Michael's original trust document. In his own handwriting, Daniel says, "This trust was meant to secure Liam's future, and if the worst happened, to care for Claire, the mother who never left his side." Silence stretches, heavy and absolute. The judge looks from the papers to me. Her voice, when she speaks, is steady and clear. This court finds no reason to remove Mrs. Evans as trustee. The petition for guardianship is denied. Furthermore, given the evidence of deceit and attempted manipulation, the petitioners are barred from further interference. I don't realize I'm holding my breath until it escapes in a trembling sigh. It's over. Veronica lowers her gaze, her confidence dissolving into disbelief. My father looks suddenly old, my mother pale and small. They stand together, but not united, each one afraid of what the other has done. The judge turns to me. "Mrs. Evans, you've shown remarkable strength through unimaginable loss. Your son would be proud." Her words settle deep inside me, warm and steady. Daniel gathers the papers, his eyes soft with relief. He leans closer. "You kept your promise." Outside, the afternoon sun breaks through the clouds. The air smells of rain and new beginnings. Reporters wait on the steps, their microphones bright against the gray stone. One of them calls out, "Mrs. Evans, Do you have a statement? I pause, looking up at the sky, then down at the courthouse steps where the rain is still drying. Yes, I say softly. Today justice was done. My son's memory is safe. When I walk away, Martha is waiting near the car. She opens her arms without a word, and I step into them. We don't need to speak. For the first time since the day Liam died, I feel the weight on my chest ease. Weeks pass. The trust is released, and Daniel helps me set up something new. The Liam Evans Foundation, a scholarship fund for children fighting rare blood disorders. The paperwork feels different this time. Not cold, not clinical. Every signature feels like a heartbeat coming back to life. On the day of the opening, the children's ward at St. Anne's Hospital glows with color. Murals of stars and heroes cover the walls. A small plaque beside the door reads, "In memory of Liam Evans, whose courage continues to heal." Parents and nurses fill the hall. Among them, a young woman introduces herself. She says, "My name is Julia. I'm the first recipient of your foundation's scholarship. I wanted to thank you." I study her face, tired but bright, full of the same fierce hope I once saw in my son's eyes. I say gently, "You don't have to thank me. Just keep fighting." That's what he would have done. Later, when everyone leaves, I walk outside to the hospital garden. The sun is low, painting the flowers gold. I take Liam's favorite stuffed dinosaur from my bag and set it by the plaque. "I kept my promise," I whisper. "You're still helping people, my love." The wind moves softly through the trees, and for a moment, I feel him near. Light, fearless, whole. I close my eyes and let the warmth of the sun rest on my face. Life will never be the same, but it still goes on carrying his laughter somewhere inside it. And for the first time in so long, I don't feel broken. I feel awake.